Inspired by Anna Louise Marie's TV vlogs, I had the sudden urge to film some B-roll for an upcoming project. I had my trusty Google Pixel 7, the first phone I bought for myself with my own money, but the camera works a little too well. It shoots in 4K at 60 frames per second. It's too clear, too crisp, too clean, too smooth. Not all I'm going for. So I went to eBay to buy a Cybershot, and then I remembered I have a plethora of shitty cameras upstairs. Well, shitty camera phones, but you get the point. Phone 1. A Sony something. This was my dad's phone. In fact, it was the phone. When someone was calling my dad, I would sprint at full speed to get him this phone. When I was bored at family gatherings, he would fire up this sick 3D Snake game that I'd get lost in. I loved this phone, I loved this period of time, but how does the camera look? Well, it has a proprietary charger that was probably lost a decade and a half ago, so we'll never fucking know. Here's some footage I found off YouTube. I mean, it's a bit grainy, but it has that early 2000s look that I was going for. The issue is it's not clear enough. You can't really make out the details, which I feel like is important for what I'm going for. Phone 2, the BlackBerry Bold. This was my mother's work phone, if memory serves me correct. I remember her incessantly talking on this thing. It had this purple gel case. It was much cooler back then, trust me. This phone was sleek and sexy and everyone wanted it. What's Your BBM pin used to echo through the corridors. Other notable features was the Brick Breaker game, another game my parents would use to pacify me when I was bored and moaning, and BlackBerry Messenger, which is a weird combination of Snapchat and WhatsApp before Snapchat and WhatsApp existed. How does the camera look? After this very short and very bad session of Brick Breaker, the phone made the executive decision to turn off and never turn back on again. So unfortunately I don't have my own footage, but here's some I pulled from YouTube. I actually really like the way this camera looks. The colour and the graininess encapsulates exactly what I remember the early 2010s looking like. Shit enough to give you that wave of nostalgia, but clear enough to see what you're looking at. Unfortunately, my phone doesn't work anymore, so I won't be able to film in this, but alas. Next phone. Phone number 3. This isn't a phone, but it might as well have been. This is the iPod Touch. What a beauty this little device was. It was my pride and joy in my formative years. I begged and pleaded my parents non-stop for this device. I remember its silver case burning my fingers as I played games and watched YouTube into the late night, which became the early hours of the morning. And then I'd frantically hide it as my mum would come in and check if I actually went to bed. This and the DS were my pride and joy. I loved them. This isn't actually my iPod. It's one I bought off eBay in my mid-teens to relive some semblance of my youth. I don't actually know if I bought it broken, but knowing me, I didn't, and these cracks were my doing. There's this dumb fucking charger, so I'm gonna have to go find that. So I got the charger. Here's a video of me being very excited that it actually turned on. I was not expecting that. Fuck! And let's see how the camera looks. Well, the screen doesn't fucking work, and I don't remember the password even if the screen did work. So here's some footage off of YouTube. This is becoming a common theme that none of these phones work, which is an issue. But of all the things we've reviewed so far, this is my favorite. The way this camera looks is just, I don't know, it's just perfect. It's perfect in every way. It's clear, it has that HD look, but you can tell it's not from this time. It's just, I don't know, it's so good. And I can't really verbalize why I love it so much. I feel like it just takes me back to a different time. A time where photos were less clear, and I was happier, and I had less responsibilities and more time to do dumb shit. It's a shame the phone doesn't work. I'd really love to see what's on here. This is a camera I bought a few months ago off of Facebook Marketplace for £20 I wanted an old retro camera and stumbled upon this one. When I went to pay for it, I tried to offer the man £40 as £20 was nowhere near what it was worth. He explained to me that it was his neighbour's and he was going to a nursing home soon, so they're trying to clear out all his old possessions. He refused to take my additional money and he sent me on my way. I love this camera, the way it looks, and the history it had with its old owner. It's not a phone, but you know. Next phone, phones 5 and phone 6. These were only ever my phones very briefly. They were actually my brother's. This one is inscribed with property of Fish Tank 24. I don't remember the numbers in my name, but Fish Tank. In handwriting that is way too neat to be mine, so I knew it was gifted to me at some point, but I have no recollection of using this phone. This one doesn't have a battery, so we will have no idea what it looks like, and this one won't charge or switch on, so there's that. Here's some footage I got off of YouTube. There seems to be a running theme here. The Samsung is nice, but the image is a bit too muddy and the colours are a bit lacking. And the Nokia is a 17-year-old phone, and you can tell it's a 17-year-old phone. Neither of these are quite my cup of tea. Phone number 7. I don't actually know whose phone this was. The story behind it, when it was bought, but I do know the battery's fucked. For those of you that don't know, most batteries in electronic devices are lithium-ion batteries, and they have a habit of spontaneously combusting sometimes. Google says lithium-ion batteries can explode or catch fire due to a phenomenon called thermal runaway, a chain reaction of overheating that can lead to rapid and uncontrolled release of energy, potentially causing fires or explosions. And now that I look closer at this phone, it's a Samsung Galaxy 7, and yeah, I will dispose of this safely, and in the meantime, let's hope it doesn't burn down my house. Phone number 8. This was actually a phone I had very briefly in high school. I'd broken whatever phone I'd had at the time. I want to say it was a Sony Xperia. And at the time I was really big into technology and computers and that whole world, and specifically MKBHD. He made a positive review of a blue phone and I had to get one, so I got the most budget one they offered, and I begged my dad, I convinced him to spend the money on this phone. And I remember walking home with this very popular girl who would have never spoken to me if we didn't live one street apart. I told her I was getting a new phone, and the conversation went a little like this. I'm getting a blue phone. They make iPhones in blue now? No, a blue phone. Like the colour? No, like the phone brand. And then I went to explain to her that there was this new tech startup in California called Blue. And I broke down all the specs of the phone to her, which I'm sure she was very impressed with. Yeah, she thought I was a fucking loser, and to be fair, she wasn't exactly wrong. I still am a fucking loser.
Like all my phones, this phone no longer works and has been subject to abuse. So here is some footage off of YouTube. Thank you for indulging me for the last 10, 12 minutes, whatever it's been. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you.